What's up, everyone? This is Minnie here, and today I'm bringing you the second ever game I played in the Missouri I pulled from Santa Crates in December 2021. This was a great game. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to help me keep making more great content, and comment down below your thoughts on the game. So before we get into the game, just a look at the lineup. We got 5 enemy battleships, 4 cruisers, 3 DDs. We are the top tier, which is always nice, and then they've only got the Baltimore radar. So we're going to get this one started here. We are, of course, on hotspot, and I love the new graphics on this map, and we're spawning the D side, playing with Kaiser, both of us running a double Missouri. So we have a major advantage in radar, because we've got the 2 raiders of ours, plus a Belfast, versus just their Baltimore. Also, if you didn't notice, they failed to Farragut into a Heinrich, so that poor Farragut getting tier 6 match made into tier 9. Anyway, so my early thoughts here is we're going to go to D, and we're going to sit here and we're going to look at D because we want to defend. We're going to go towards the outside because we want to block the line here, and we got Kaiser on the inside, though we're going to wait and have a little bit of support. We would like to go to the outside, of course, because what I usually like to do here, just to clarify, is I love going to the outside. However, when you've got nothing else going out there, you can't really risk it. So we'll line up here on the inside for the moment and go from there. Early York is always a fun thing to see. Gotta wait for shot lines. There he is. Wait for him to do the turn. And then we say, ooh, to 7 Province, that's already broadside. Line up the shots. I love these guns. They can be trolly a bit, like there, where we get the double ricochet because he turns in, but that do be the nature of it sometime. Then we got a Kearsarge that's basically stopped, so we're going to do that, and we're going to watch out for the Farragut. Now, I am running Halsey on this, so that's why we've got the extended range secondary, it looks like, but that gives us the gun feeder and some other stuff that's really helpful. No shots so far, and looking at the game setup, what I'm thinking here is, okay, we got the Farragut there, Cossack there, we got 2 cruisers, 2 battleships, the Minnesota sitting there, and then the York, Lennon, Iowa, so we're expecting the Baltimore over there somewhere. So we're going to line up on this island, and we're just going to work on trying to get those battleships down. Let my guns work on the Farragut, the secondaries that is, see if I can hit any shells. And we're going to angle because we see the torps now. We know where the torps have been launched. So we're going to be careful here, but we can also tell we're in a good line to dodge them, and we just want to delete that York. So we're like, come on, York, show yourself. Burn the raid. This was a mistake here. I really wanted that York, but I was an idiot and didn't pay attention to my radar range, so wasting a radar there, a 38-second radar, because I'm looking for a York that I'm never going to see. And then the York shows up, and we're like, ooh, he's slowing down. Beach ourselves into the island, shells are going in, and we get the Dev Strike, first blood with a double Citadel, which felt really good. And so already we're at 14,000 damage and 1 kill. 3 minutes into the game, and they've got rid of 1. Now, as we look at this, the Farragut's been forced out. We don't have shot line on the Province, so our shots are going to be focused on the Kearsarge, because as a tier 9 battleship, he's one of the biggest threats. We're going to aim close to waterline to try to sneak Citadels, or at least full pens onto him, but it all depends on what kind of RNG we get with shots. So we watch the shots go in, they're a little high, but we still get 3 overpens and 1 pen for another 6k. This point, with the Cossack having been forced wide, and with Kaiser telling me that he's where the Cossack has to be because he's detected by the Cossack, so he can't be close, we're going to start to assert ourselves into the D cap, especially because with the game being tied, we have A cap, we don't have D cap, but we got to watch for that group out there. We want to win this flank, and I feel confident in my ability to help win this flank. If I had a radar, I might have ended up pushing towards the Farragut smoke and trying to get him, but we didn't. So I don't want to over push on that. I want to come to the cap, but I also want to be careful of the Cossack. We can see a Heinrich. Heinrich's always a juicy target. Get turned, get turned. We quick shot to try to hit them because he went dark briefly. And then we're going to pop the second cell in, and we get a really surprising Citadel to me, to be honest. I mean, obviously they don't have the turtleback armor, and then the second shot flubs, and we're like, oh gosh. So this is where I had the moment. Remember me talking about Kaiser saying he was detected? Yeah. Cossack just shows up out of nowhere after Kaiser was being detected, so Kaiser was not being detected by the Cossack is what we determined at that time. So there's the panic moment here. Kaiser's using radar. to keep the Cossack spotted, and I'm turning my guns because Cossack is the biggest threat to me at the moment. I'm also trying to angle so I don't give the Kearsarge a line he can just destroy me with. And we're going to launch shells into the Cossack, 2,700, and now we're going to turn so that we can get secondaries on him, and like I said, we're still a little bit worried about the Kearsarge. So we're going to get the secondaries here, but we're trying not to give too much broadside to Minnesota or Kearsarge. Cossack continues to run. My goal is to make sure that Cossack doesn't get out alive, because he is the biggest threat right now. You'll also see the Farragut is shown back up, so I gotta watch out for him. And there's those shells. Here is where I should have changed. I know I have my secondaries focused on the Cossack. I should have changed my secondaries to focus on the Farragut here, because I've got a full broadside Farragut I could be launching improved accuracy secondaries at. Cossack kill, we've got number 2. Now we see our shells are going over to the Cossack. We quick change it over to them, but it's a little late on that. So at this point, we're in a bit of a crisis situation. Kaiser's almost gone. We are down by 1 ship. We're up caps, but we're hurting on health, so we need to get some kills and fast. Goal here with this push is I'm like, okay, so if the Farragut comes around, I can use the islands to try to block, but I have a broadside on a Minnesota I can take, and if the D7 Provinces shows up, I can smack him. So we're going to line up, we're aiming, we're trying to hit waterline on the Minnesota, get those citadels, just finish him. And we're looking for where those are. Unfortunately, we were a little low on the shots, so we only got 5,700. I should have aimed just a hair higher. D7, of course, is trying to spank me with his air strikes, but we're not. We're also radaring because we were worried about the Farragut. So good radar here. We spot the Farragut. We're going to continue to turn in, and then we're going to line up the shots here on the Farragut. D7 Provinces goes down, but so does Farragut, and we're at 3 kills. Now, here's another place I make a mistake. I should stop right here and be backing up. I'm going to be giving Kearsarge broadside if I come out too far, and I don't need to. I'm at a decent angle for the Minnesota. So what I should do right here is I should stop and not give Kearsarge possibly more angle to sneak shells over the island, because he definitely can. I should just stop. I should be backing up and then smack the Minnesota. Because I'm realizing, oh crap, I'm giving broadside to a Kearsarge, and I'm like, thank goodness he only hit me for 3,000, 4,000 damage. Focus the secondaries onto the Minnesota, and then we're going to try to break guns. 5 pens, only 7,600 damage. We don't break the guns, which is sad because that was our whole goal there. And now we're backing up to try and make sure the Kearsarge doesn't get an angle. And now we're just waiting until our guns are ready and the Minnesota has turned, so we can try to claim kill number 4. Back guns go out. Unfortunately, I was a little eager on those shots. And the reason I'm upset about that is because right here you'll see my shots are going in. And unfortunately, because I was early with my shots, the Agir gets the kill. That should have been my 4th kill. But that's a mistake on me, not the Agir for burning him down. Now I'm going to go forward, and I'm going to go forward and hunt for the Kearsarge and such. So, game situation is a bit hairy. We're down 40,000 health. We're tied on ships. They've got the push at A, so we got to clear these ships off so we can get pushing over there. So we're going to look for the Kearsarge. We're also only at 77,000 damage because we want to finish him. And we say, okay, there he is. He's pushing in. Let's get the turn and let's smack him before any other ships come into range. Kaiser has also by this time unfortunately died. Just peeking to see where his guns are there. And so now we're going to turn and we're going to look in. Like I said, we got the Heinrich, which is going to die to the Agir here, which we're very thankful about. And so our job is to come around this corner and 1, make sure we're not giving broadside to the Iowa, and 2, get our guns on the Kearsarge and get as much damage as possible. Another mistake I make here, I should be popping the heal immediately, because I want to be getting that health back. Still haven't popped it because I'm focused on the Kearsarge. I need that health. So we're going to line up the shots. We're going to sneak the shots over the island. Unfortunately, a little early for the back guns, but we're going to get the 19,000 damage salvo and the Confederate, which means Halsey gets the main battery reload time. Now we pop that, and we're going to continue to watch the Kearsarge because we're trying to make sure our Agir doesn't die and that our D7 province doesn't die. 3 seconds to shells, and it's so nice having Halsey's improved launch time. We see where he is. We're going to launch Waterline again. We're going to watch those shells in as the Agir's there. We're going to get the Citadel 19,000. Agir finishes them off. Agir is now at 4 kills, and I'm at 3 kills. Here's where, honestly, I make another mistake, in my opinion. I should not have gone broadside right here. Even though they're not firing at me right now, I should go dark and get myself into a protected position before going broadside. We are up by 1 ship now, and we're also taking caps, so we're looking in here at the Iowa. We don't get a great shot on the Iowa, and also we give ourselves the problem of the fact we're going to beach, which is not a bueno decision here. Do the backup, go dark. Iowa fires, so we immediately fire at him because I know that I can go dark. And look at that 20-second reload time in a Missouri. That is just juicy. 3 pens, but they're all over pens, but we do break a gun, which is nice. And now we're going to go bow in and start to work him down. So, crisis spot for us on the map. We've brought this back most of the way. We're taking B cap. We're up a ship. Problem is our Lepanto's in a stuck position, and our Agir and our Z46 are low. So a lot of our health is on the Lepanto, me, and the Mahan. And the Mahan is not where we really want to have a full health. I'd rather have a full health Z46 than a Mahan. Just going to keep going dark. So I switch shots here because I see that there's a broadside Baltimore, and I'm trying to get Citadels to chunk him down. I hesitate on whether that was the right call because there is the 62,000 health Iowa in my face I should be dealing with. But it's also like if I hit a Citadel, I mean, I'm looking at 13,000 damage on the Baltimore, which made it tempting. I should have, though, in my opinion, as I look back on it, gone for work on the Iowa. I also still have no idea where their Yugumo is, so I've got that crisis ahead of me. And Lepanto is getting chunked down. He's almost gone, which is because he beached himself, and so he's been sitting broadside, so this is a crisis. Now we also say, oh crap, there's a Yugumo there. We get some really good damage on him, but we got the Yugumo, and the Lepanto just died, so we gotta be very careful of that Yugumo. Because we don't want to die to him. And so this becomes the, which ship do I shoot? Do I shoot the Iowa that's turning broadside in front of me? Do I shoot the Yugumo? We're going to take the Iowa because his guns are, of course, a bigger threat, in my opinion, in the long run. And we're going to Citadel him, finish him off. 147,000 damage and 4 kills now. Now we're going to turn and dive onto the island to try to dodge the Yugumo shells and to look at that Lenin that's coming out. Lenin's coming out. And here is, honestly, where I make a really big mistake. So the 6,000 damage isn't the end of the world. I have the heal, but I should have been turning in, so I'm not taking that much from the Lenin. And if I hold the shots, I see the Baltimore earlier, because the Baltimore is going to try to burn me down. And so we're using the surveillance radar to spot the Yugumo so know where he is. But now we're going to switch off of the Lenin onto the Baltimore, because I think that the Baltimore spamming HE when I don't have a DCP is the bigger threat. So we're going to continue to angle, we're going to put our nose into the Lenin, and we're just going to look for that Baltimore and be like, come on, Balti, turn yourself. Little bit early on the shots, should have waited to see what he does because we only get 3,800 damage off him, and I need to be slamming the brakes here because I'm putting myself into a very bad position. It's at this point that I say, okay, I've got the choice. I either finish the Lenin or I try to finish the Baltimore. Which one do I go for? And my first decision is, because we see that the D7 Provinces is trying to drop on him, is that we're going to look at the Lenin. But we realize when he doesn't take any of that, we're going to have to look at the Baltimore, because now we're on double fire and we're just getting chunked by him. So we're going to look at the Baltimore, and we're going to put shells out to try to finish him. And a much better hit there. There's the high caliber, 15,000 damage. Problem is our Z46 goes down. And I really don't know what our Z46 was doing there. He knows that there's a Baltimore with radar. He gets spotted. I don't see what his point was. I mean, he launches the torps out to the Baltimore, but he would have been far more effective off. The other mistake I make here is I should have DCP'd this fire immediately. There's no reason I should be letting 2 fires burn with no heal, even if I am worried, because I need to kill off the Baltimore, yes. And I leave him once again on 1,400 health. And so the D7 Provinces get the kill, and once again, I fail to get my Kraken. But, so yeah, I didn't let that I didn't take that down, and so now I'm at 6,000 health, and I'm just sitting here trying to get a kill. Because I'm getting burned down by the Lenin and the Yugumo. So we launch our final set of shells because we're like, yeah, we're going down. And Ibuki finishes me without me getting the crack in, sadly. And we watch the shells in, and they don't hit. So, at this point, final stats on our game. 1.829 million damage tanked. First Blood, Dev Strike, Confederate, General Offensive, and High Caliber, 4 kills, and I could have had a Kraken a couple of times. The sad thing is this game ends up being a loss, and we're not going to watch it because I have no desire to go back through this again, but at the end of the day, the D7 province dies trying to take the Ibuki, and the Mahan sits at B far too long, gets spotted, and dies so that they have enough time to run down our Ajir and win the game. If the Mahan just runs like he was told, we don't lose the game. But I really love the ship, and I mean, I can't complain about my results. Couple choices I made I could have done different that would have put me in a better spot. But is what it is. This ship's going to be a ship I'm going to love, and we're going to see more great games across the course of YouTube videos. Speaking of which, if you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to help me keep making more great content. As always, this is Minnie, signing off.